November 2017. That was when Derrick Rose began to question his future in basketball after multiple years of being sidelined due to injury after injury after injury. Then, a few short months later, he was traded to the Utah Jazz and immediately released by them, which must have been a punch in the gut for Rose. Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about Derrick Rose's recent comeback. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. A month after being released by the Jazz, Derrick Rose was signed by the Minnesota Timberwolves for the remainder of the season and the playoffs. I'm sure many people saw this as a pity signing because Derrick Rose's former coach Tom Thibodeau was the head coach of the Timberwolves at the time and could have just been looking out for an old player of his. I'm sure at this point in his career, many people had counted him out and wrote him off as another what-if story and another player that could have been great if not for injuries. Nobody thought D Rose had anything left in the tank, and rightfully so. He only averaged 9.8 points, 1.8 rebounds, and 1.6 assists in 16 games for the Cavs after being injured for most of the season. So by all measures, it looked like he had nothing left in the tank and that he should just call it a career. But then, the first round of the 2018 NBA playoffs happened. After being traded to Minnesota, Jimmy Butler transformed the Timberwolves and dragged them to the 8th seed in the West, along with Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins. And going into that series against the Rockets, nobody even thought Derrick Rose would be a factor, let alone a focal point. In Game 1 of that series, Rose showed people what he is still capable of. In this game, he scored 16 points in 24 minutes and added on 4 assists, and he showed that he still has speed and explosiveness and can get to the rim at will. He also showed how healthy he was when he was continually getting contact at the rim and still finishing. In Game 2 of this series, D Rose was quiet with only 9 points and 1 assist in 17 minutes, which was the least minutes on the team. But then, in Game 3, D Rose showed up for the Timberwolves and continued to show signs that he could still play. Rose dropped 17 points, 2 assists, and 2 steals in 21 minutes off the bench, which contributed to a blowout Timberwolves win. In this game, D Rose once again showed he still had speed and explosiveness and the ability to absorb contact and finish, and he showed how efficient he can be. In Games 4 and 5, it was more of the same for D Rose, and the Houston Rockets ended up closing out the Timberwolves in 5 games. For that series, Rose averaged 14.2 points on 50.9% shooting and 2.6 assists in 23.8 minutes per game. That playoff series put the world on notice that D Rose may have been down, but he was not out. The following offseason was very different for Derrick Rose in the sense that for once, he wasn't rehabbing an injury. He was actually healthy and free to work to improve his game instead of trying to get into playing shape. Being healthy for an extended period of time again was great for D Rose mentally, and I think this played a huge factor in his production for next season. Rose signed a 1-year, $2.1 million deal with the Timberwolves for the 2018-19 season, which is one of his best in a long time. For the first half of that season, he was an All-Star candidate, and for most of the season, he was a Sixth Man of the Year candidate. But this season, he had plenty of great scoring nights. He scored 30 points or more 4 times and 20 points or more 24 times. But the biggest scoring night and biggest night in general was October 31st. The night D Rose scored a career-high 50 points against none other than the Utah Jazz, the team that released him as soon as he was traded there. This was a very emotional night for Derrick because it seemed to be the cultivation of never giving up after so many setbacks. After the game, a tearful Rose said to a reporter, "I worked my behind off this for this, bro." And him even saying that is an understatement. For that season, D Rose averaged 18 points, 4.3 assists, and 2.7 rebounds, which led to his next venture in the NBA. In the 2019 offseason, Rose signed a 2-year, $15 million contract with the Detroit Pistons, which was great because this team needed a better guard. Once again, D Rose was a Sixth Man of the Year and All-Star candidate, and he showed that he was still immensely talented. In this season, D Rose broke the Pistons' record of consecutive games of 20 points or more, with 14 straight games of 20 or more points. He also had 26 games where he scored 20 points or more. One of the most interesting things about D Rose that was brought up this season was his per 36 stats this year compared to his MVP season. During his MVP season, Rose averaged 24.1 points on 44.5% shooting, 7.4 assists, 3.9 rebounds, and a steal for a 36. While during this season, Rose averaged 24.8 points on 49% shooting, 8.6 assists, 3.2 rebounds, and 1.4 steals. So his per 36 stats were better this year than his MVP season, which shows how effective Rose was this season. This season, Rose is averaging 18.1 points, shooting 49% from the field and 30% from 3, 5.6 assists, and 2.4 rebounds. Derrick Rose is a beacon of hope and an example of what never giving up can lead to. He deserves all the success he's getting. Alright, if you stayed to the end, thank you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.